प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की
जय।
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामा कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की
जय।
मथुरापुरी वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय।
जय।
गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्याम वेद भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि हरि बोल।
All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So today we are reading chapter 17. No, sorry, Canto 1, chapter 17 and text number 19. So I will recite 3 times and then you please recite. Kechid vikalpa vasana ahur atmanam atmanah devam anne pare karma swabhavam apare prabhum. Kechid vikalpa vasana ahur atmanam atmanah devam anne pare karma swabhavam apare prabhum. Kechid vikalpa vasana ahur atmanam atmanah devam anne pare karma swabhavam apare prabhum. Please recite.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kechid boikalpa basana ahur atmanam daivamanne pare karma sabhavam apare prabhum. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
केचित् विकल्पवसना आहुरात्मानमात्मनः दैवमन्ये अपरे कर्म स्वभावमपरे प्रभु. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to say?
केचित् विकल्पवसना आहुरात्मानमात्मना दैवमन्ये परे कर्म स्वभावम् अपरे प्रभुम्.
Okay. Anyone else would like to say?
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Kechid vikalpavasana ahur atmanam atmanah daivam manne pare karma sobhavam apare prabhum.
All right, so then I'll start. Kechid vikalpa vasana ahur atmanam atmana devam manni pare karma swabhavam apare prabhum. Synonyms: Kechid, some of them; vikalpa vasana, those who deny all kind of duality; ahu, declare; atmanam, own self; atmana, of the self; devam, superhuman; anye, others; apare, someone else; karma, activity; swabhavam, material nature; apare, many other; prabhum, authorities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: some of the philosophers who deny all sorts of duality declare that one's own self is responsible for his personal happiness and distress. Others say that superhuman powers are responsible, while yet others say that activity is responsible. And the gross materialist maintain that nature is the ultimate cause. As referred to above, philosophers like Gemini and his followers established that fruitive activity is the root cause of all distress and happiness. And that even if there is a superior authority, some superhuman powerful god or gods, he or they are also under the influence of fruitive activity, because the reward result according to one's action. They say that action is not independent because action is performed by some performer. Therefore, the performer himself is the cause of his own happiness and distress. In the Bhagavad Gita 6.5, also, it is confirmed that one's mind, freed from material affection, can deliver himself from sufferings of material pangs. So one should not entangle oneself in matter by the mind's material affections. Thus, one's own mind is one's friend or enemy in one's material happiness and distress. Atheistic, materialistic Sankhyaists conclude that material nature is cause of all causes. According to them, combinations of material elements are the causes of material happiness and distress, and disintegration of matter is the cause of freedom from all material pangs. Gautam and Kanad find that the atomic combination is the cause of everything, and impersonalists like Astavakra discover that spiritual effulgence of Brahman is the cause of all causes. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord himself declared that he is the source of the impersonal Brahman, and therefore he, the personality of Godhead, is the ultimate cause of all causes. It is also confirmed in the Brahma Samhita that Lord is the ultimate cause of all causes. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirdasyya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Yutapatikamanam Shri Gurun Vaishtamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahegana Raghunatha Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Divam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshataranya Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namini Gaurattushinama Panchtatvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vishnuvebhyo Nunma He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Nuste Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivanottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Shanamatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shramana Kirtana Nirdanta Subhadrani Vidhanoti Swarstam Nashtapraya Shabdeshu Nityam Bhagavasevya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Nashtaki. Hare Krishna. So one more time the verse. Kechid vikalpa vasana ahur atmanam atmana devam anya pare karma swabhavam apare prabhu. Some of the philosophers who deny all sorts of duality declare that one's own self is responsible for his personal happiness and distress. Others say that superhuman powers are responsible, while yet others says that the activity is responsible, and the gross materialist maintain that the nature is the ultimate cause. So this chapter is a discussion between Parishit Maharaj and Dharma. So Parishit Maharaj asked the question to Dharma because when he saw that dharma in the form of a bull. At that time, right now, he doesn't know that he is dharma, but he saw a bull standing on one leg, and he's in very, very pathetic situation. Like, because he saw in his own kingdom that this kind of things are happening, where living entities are in this much of condition, which is very, very painful. Like, generally a bull used to have the 4 legs, right? But here he saw that there is only 1 leg is there, and that leg is also being cut by this a black personality. He's cutting this fourth leg also. So Parikshit Maharaj was very much compassionate on this bull, and he asked this question, like, who is giving you this suffering? Who is the cause of your suffering? What exactly causing you so much suffering in this material world here? In my kingdom, my grandfather, Yudhishthira Maharaj and Arjuna, they were all devotee of Krishna, and they established this rule of kingdom, this kingdom which is completely following dharma, and it's like everybody's so happy and enjoying, but why there is suffering this material world for you guys, especially for dharma, for the bull. So bull, because he is dharma personified, he did not directly pinpoint who is cause of my suffering. So he is giving many options here. He's giving many options, which is very, very, very common in society. So he's giving Kechid Vikalpa Vasana. Some of them, not all of them. He is giving what is the general opinion among the society. Say, if suppose something is happening in society or in the world, people have different opinion about different things, right? So similarly, what is the cause of our suffering? For all the living entity, including you and me and all, what is the cause of our suffering? That's a question here. Parikshit Maharaj is asking to the bull, and by targeting all the audience, like all the living entity, what is the cause of our suffering in the material world? So here bull is answering Kechid Vikalpa Vasana. Some of them Vikalpa Vasana means who deny all kind of duality. What they declare? They declare own self. You see that? Ahur Atmanam Atmana. Saying that your own self is the cause of your suffering. You are the cause of your own suffering. How is that possible? We'll discuss what Prabhupada says that about that. So he's quoting one of the philosopher Gemini, that he's basically quoting. So we'll see that. Then he's saying that, okay, some people say that you are cause of your own suffering. And then some people say superhuman. Devam Anye means we are getting suffering from Devam, means demigods or some powerful person more than us. Means like if we are not the cause, but some people are saying that, oh, Devam are or the demigods or devatas or some superhuman power is basically responsible for our cause of suffering. And others apare karma, and then other people say your own karma. Whatever activity you will do, you will get the result. Like that. Then that is the third one. The fourth one says swabhavam apare prabhum. And some other people say swabhavam. Swabhavam is your nature. The nature. This material world has 3 modes of material nature: goodness, passion, ignorance. Depend upon where you are, whether you are in goodness, whether you are in passion, whether you are in ignorance, or mixed modes. Accordingly, you are getting pleasure and pain. So these are the options that bull produced in front of Parikshit Maharaj. So here Prabhupada says that here, as referred to above, philosophers like Gemini. So Srila Prabhupada many times mentioned in in his commentaries that there are 6 schools of thought, very prominent, like in the Eastern philosophy, and one of the philosophers is Gemini. So Gemini and his followers established that fruitive activity is the root cause of all distress and happiness. Means the activity that we are doing day by day. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that there is not a single moment that we can live without doing an action. Not a single moment. Every moment we are performing action. So many people think that action means performing some physical activity. Like you are doing some work here and there. People think that action means some kind of this activity. But actually, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, manasa vacha karmana. Any activity we perform with our body, with our tongue, which can be considered part of body, but talking about that, and the mind. So our physical body, hands and legs, we perform some action. Through our tongue, we talk and speak. So that, and through mind. So these are the 3 ways we perform activity or an action. And when we perform action from these 3 places, so Krishna says that every action has some reaction. Even Newton's 3rd law says that every action has equal and opposite reaction. So according to law of karma, you do an action, there will be a reaction. When that reaction will come, that is decided by Krishna. When that reaction will come, we don't know. A living entity performs action, but the result is not decided by the living entity. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Karmanye evadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalhetubu ma tu sangasta karmani. Krishna is saying to Arjuna that, hey Arjuna, you have right to perform your duty, but you don't have any authority on the result. Result is decided by some deva, some superhuman power, which according to Bhagavad Gita is Krishna. So the result is decided by the Lord, but a living entity have right to perform the action. And every action produces result, good or bad, depending upon the action. So here, Prabhupada says that fruitive activity is the root cause of distress and happiness. So whatever action we are performing, according to that action, there will be a result coming. So that is basically gives us distress and happiness. So whatever in this life we are getting, whether we are getting distress or whether we are getting happiness or mix, all 3 types of results we are getting because of our previous karma. So how we can understand that? So people who are doing job today, today is the month of March, right? So we are doing a job and we are going to office and working, and we will get paycheck after 2 weeks. But for these 2 weeks, we have to work, right? We have to eat, we have to live in a house, we have to go in a car, we have to drink water, we have to do so many things, right? For that, we need money. So that money, from where we are getting that money? What we have saved before, right? So we are using our previous money to work today, and by working today, at the end of the 2-week cycle or end of the month, we'll get a paycheck, and from that paycheck, we'll continue working, and then after that working, we'll get another paycheck, and from that paycheck, we'll get another continue working. Similarly, whatever we are working now, we are accumulating our actions, and once that action will fructify, we'll get the result, and on that result, we'll again perform the actions, and from that action, we will again build the result, and from that result, we'll again perform the action. So it says that because of our previous action, we got this human body. Because of the previous our actions, we got this human body, and in the human body we are performing action again, and because of that action we'll get another body, and in that body again we perform action, and then we again get another body. So it's a cycle. You perform action, you get a body, you perform another action, you get another body, you perform action, you get another body, and this cycle will continue till we come out from this cycle of birth and death. So we have to, in order to come out from this cycle, we have to break this cycle so that we don't perform karma. Gajendra Maharaj, Gajendra, he actually prayed to Lord that please free me from karma bandhana, from this cycle of action and reaction. Right. So here it says, Prabhupada says that the fruited activity is the root cause of distress and happiness according to Gemini, and that even if there is a superior authority. So here the Gemini is saying that because it's an atheistic philosophy, he's not considering God as a factor. He's saying that even if there is a superior authority, some superhuman powerful God or gods, he or they are also under the influence of fruited activity because they reward result according to one's action. So because this is an atheistic philosophy, they are not considering Lord as a owner of this material world. They are thinking Lord is also coming under the performance of under the law of this karma. If you remember that in Govardhan Leela, when Nanda Maharaj was going to perform this Indra Yajna, Indra Puja. So at that time, Krishna came and asked Nanda Maharaj that why you are performing this Yajna? Is it a Vedic system or is it a traditional system? Why you are performing this? And so at that time, Nanda Maharaj explained, about because Indra is a god of rains, and we have to perform because we are heavily dependent upon the grass, and the grass comes out of the rain, and that grass will be eaten by the cows, and cows will basically give the milk, and that's why we are surviving, all this cycle. But at that time, Krishna actually explained this philosophy of karma mimamsa, Japanese philosophy, to defeat or to stop Nanda Maharaj. He said that, well, everybody get reaction according to their own karma, where this Indra is coming into picture. And he actually preached very heavily this philosophy to Nanda Maharaj. And Nanda Maharaj get okay, if you are saying that, that's fine. So tell me what to do now. And Krishna said, okay, but more than Indra, this Govardhan is helpful to us because Govardhan is this Govardhan and God. He gives us this water from his springs and the green grass and all we get from Govardhan. So let's worship Govardhan. So ultimately he switched, or he converted, pushed, stopped the Indra Yajna and started the Govardhan Puja. But this karma mimamsa philosophy is atheistic. Here, Prabhupada says that even though they are considering that even there is some superhuman powerful god or gods are there, they are also coming under the influence of this law of karma. But this is a atheistic philosophy. Prabhupada actually explained in other places. They say that action is not independent because action is performed by some performer. Because action is, as I say, action is performed by, we discuss in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that manasa vacha karmana. The action is performed by the body, mind, and words. So action cannot be done by its own. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there are 5 factors. There are 5 factors which are the causes of action. If you see in Bhagavad Gita 18:14, chapter number 18, verse number 14, Krishna says that adhishtanam tatha karta karanam cha prathak vidham vividascha prathak cheshta devam chevatra panchamam. There are 5 factors. There are 5 causes of performing an action. The place of action, the body through which we are performing, as I say, the words, the body and the mind, and the performer, the soul, the living entity, and the different senses we have. We have various senses like hands, eyes, legs, through which we perform action. And also your different kind of endeavors. Your desire, which basically ultimately getting converted into endeavor. And ultimately, Bhagavad Gita recognizes that super soul is also the one of the factor for performing action, because upadrashta anumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwara. So Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita that there is a upadrashta anumanta. There is a overseer and permitter. The Lord's expansion, Lord expand himself in the form of Paramatma, sitting in the heart of all living entity. He is working as an overseer and giving permission for performing the action. Without the permission of the Lord, no action can be performed. That's Bhagavad Gita is saying. So there are 5 factors, not just the one factor. But here we see, here is saying that there is a because action is not independent, so action is performed by some performer. Therefore, the performer himself is the cause of his own happiness and distress. So he's part of that. So that's why he's basically putting there. Now this is a body, like or the performer. Now, Srila Prabhupada brought the point of mind also. So in Bhagavad Gita 6.5, which is the yoga chapter, so there it says that one's mind freed from material affection can deliver himself from the sufferings of material pangs. Mind is part of our sukshma sharira, or what is called the subtle body. So it is said that one's mind is the cause of bondage in the material world. Our attachment, our detachment are basically depend upon the mind. So when mind is free from material affection, when the mind is free from material affection, then one can free himself from the sufferings of material pangs. So Prabhupada says that, so no, one should not entangle oneself in the matter by material affections. So material affection means when anything related to our body, means whatever in this material world, whatever we have is basically in relationship with our body, especially like our wife, children, our parents, relatives, friends, society, our job, our community, our country, our career, all those kind of things are basically like related to our body. And when we are basically attached to these things through our mind, that is basically become the cause of our suffering, cause of our material affection. Material affection become the cause of our suffering. And that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.5. So in order to get free from this material world, and in order to become eligible to go to the spiritual world, you need to have this quality of free from this material affection. Krishna says, Nirman moha jit sanga dosha, adhyatma nitya vinivarta kama, dvandher mukta sukhduk sangir, gachantya mudha padam abhyamta. In order to go to spiritual world, we have to nirman moha jit sanga dosha, adhyatma nitya vinivarta kama. We have to free from all these material desires and affections. So that is one of the things that one should free oneself from this material affection by mind. We have to give up to the affection from the mind. So thus, when your mind is controlled, your mind becomes your friend. But when your mind is uncontrolled, your mind becomes your biggest enemy. That's why I say that here Prabhupada says, thus one's own mind is one's friend and enemy in one's material happiness and distress. So, and to certain extent, like Krishna says that, this in the material world, we have happiness and distress coming as a season. Matra sparshastu konteya, shito shnusuk dukkada, agam apaino nitya, tam titsaksha bharata. This all happiness and distress comes as a sense perception. And one should tolerate. That's Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 2, text number 14. Further here, Srila Prabhupada explained the atheistic, materialistic Sankhites conclude that material nature is the cause of all causes. So now this Sankhya philosophy, it basically takes these material elements, this material world, and broke into the various smaller elements. Sankhya means this counting and breaking and try to figure it out, the root cause of this material world. So they are actually like conclude that material nature is the cause of all causes. It's also called Paramanuvad. It's basically they are one of the philosophy where they coming to the point that atom is the cause of all actions here. So according to them, combination of material elements are the causes of material happiness and distress. And disintegration of matter is cause of freedom from all pangs. So they are saying that because different elements like this some atoms, they come together and they mix something, and then because of that there is some happiness and distress coming out in the material world. And when you disintegrate, when you get free from these material things, then you will become cause of your liberation. That's what they are basically concluding. So Gautam and Kanad find that the atomic combination is the cause of everything. And impersonalist, so this is one of the philosophy. Gautam and Kanad, they actually propagate the philosophy of Parmanuvad, where they are saying that the atom is the cause of everything. Parmanuvad. But they don't know that even in that atom, Krishna is present there. Paramatma is present in each and every atom. So that is what they did understand. They concluded till the point that atom is the cause of this thing, but they do not understand that even atom, Krishna is inside the atom also. Each and every atom, Krishna is inside. And impersonal is like Astavakra. And he explains that super effulgence, spiritual effulgence, Brahman is the cause of all causes. Everything came from Brahman, right? So this is like this impersonalist philosophy. That Brahman is the cause of everything. Everything comes from Brahman. But they don't know that even that Brahman is actually dependent upon Krishna. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Here, Srila Prabhupada giving a counter to that, to the philosophy of Astavakra. And he's saying that the Brahman is the cause of everything according to Astavakra, who is basically impersonalist. But Prabhupada says, what about Bhagavad Gita 14.27? But Brahmano hi pratistham. But in Bhagavad Gita 14.27, Lord says that he is the source of impersonal Brahman. Even that Brahman is basically nothing but a bodily rays of Krishna. In Ishopanishad, a pure devotee prays to Lord that please, Lord, remove this spiritual glaring effulgence which is causing me not to see your body, not to see you. So Krishna is behind this effulgence. This effulgence which we are calling Brahman is actually nothing but the bodily rays of Krishna, which is coming and spreading and glowing the whole spiritual world. So that thing is that impersonally they cannot see. There's a personality behind that effulgence. But devotee knows that. So, but Krishna is explaining Brahmano hi pratishtha. I am the source of that Brahman. That Brahman is by dependent upon me. Is not that I am coming from Brahman. So that Brahman is actually because of the bodily rays of Krishna. And therefore, the personality of God is the ultimate cause of all causes. Therefore, it concluded that Krishna is the cause of all causes. And then Brahma Samhita first verse, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Adir Govinda Sarva Karan Karana. That's why Prabhupada concluded here that Brahma Samhita, chapter number 5, verse number 1, Krishna explained that, Lord Brahma explained that Ishvara Parama Krishna. Lord Krishna is the Param Ishvara. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. He doesn't have any origin and he is the origin of everything. Adir. He doesn't have any origin and he is the origin of everything. And he is the cause of all causes. Everything comes from Him. Everything comes from Krishna. So that's what Krishna like the cause of all causes. And even in Bhagavad Gita, many places Krishna says that Aham sarvasya prabho mata sarvam parvatati iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhav samanvita. Chapter number 10, Krishna says that Aham sarvasya prabho. Everything comes from me. All the manifestation in the material world and spiritual world, everything comes from Krishna. And even in Ishopanishad says, Om Purnamadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadai Purnameva Avshishyate. That's also the everything emanates from Krishna, the Lord. So we see that Krishna is the cause of all causes. But here, the bull, who is actually Dharma personified, giving different options, which is basically prominent in the society. Like this might be the cause, that might be the cause, that. But all the causes are there, which are really a part of the things, but they are all dependent upon Krishna. Karma is a factor, but is dependent upon Krishna. Atom is a factor which is dependent upon Krishna. Mind is a factor which is also dependent upon Krishna. So they are all. So that if we recognize that Krishna is behind everything, then we actually basically understand these things very nicely. All right, so let me stop here. So let me see if anyone have any comments or questions, or they want to do some correction. Probably it might have something wrong that I might have said. So any corrections or any questions?
Hare Krishna devotees, if anybody has anything that they would like to comment on, reflections, questions, please just unmute yourself. Yes, Kalpesh Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. So today is 20th, right? 22nd, there is a festival called Ramadan, and just wanted to bring up something from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.26.5. It says that proud demonic person do not know the laws of nature or the laws of God. Consequently, they unrestrictedly kill poor animals, not caring for them at all. In this age of Kali, the propensity for mercy is almost nil. Consequently, there is always fighting and wars between man and nation. Men do not understand that because they unrestrictedly kill so many animals, they also must be slaughtered like animals in the big wars. This is very much evident in the Western countries. In the West, slaughterhouses are maintained without restriction, and therefore every 5th or 10th year, there is a big war in which countless people are slaughtered, even more cruelly than the animals. Sometime during the war, soldiers keep their enemies in the concentration camps and kill them in very cruel way. These are the reaction brought about by unrestricted animal killing in the slaughterhouses and by hunter in the forest. So I just wanted to bring up this because this Ramadan will be coming, and many, not only the Islamic part of that religion, but also many people will start killing, or they will kill in the name of the festival. So this is what I wanted to share, like for upcoming this, and how do we spread the awareness of this, so that at least there is, because it is also dependent on our life also, like we are trying to achieve this self-realization. Yeah. That is all I want to say.
Thank you for sharing, Guru. Thank you. Anyone else have any comment or question?
I don't, how important is it to understand all of these philosophies to better understand Vyasadev's philosophy? If I have only so much bandwidth, I'm not able to grasp everything. So how much is it very important that sometimes they say if you understand what is wrong, then you understand what is right better. And then also the question was, all of these philosophers, from which time period were they? Are these like modern philosophers, or are they also from Vedic times?
Yeah, so your two questions were like about this the origin of these philosophies. First of all, that, and these are the people like Jaimini and Ashtavakra and this imposter Kapila, Patanjali. They are just the propagators. They are not the originator of this philosophy. My understanding is that these philosophies exist eternally. These things are there all the time, but it is being propagated by certain sage or rishi at certain point of time. That's the one part. That's my understanding. Maybe some other can actually bring it, but this Prabhupada says my understanding is that it's always there. It's not something new that we are seeing today or tomorrow, or like it's going to come something new. It's already there, these kind of things. And the second part is that how important to understand this philosophy. It's all depend upon our faith. Our spiritual journey right now where we are in, it's actually based on our surrender to the Lord. If we think that we are completely surrendered to Lord and we have nowhere to go, means nowhere means we are completely convinced that chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra will give us everything and will basically the only ultimate thing I have to do, then you don't need to read this philosophy. If you are not convinced, then you need to make yourself convinced, because if tomorrow, like if we are reading this today like that Hare Krishna Mahamantra is everything, and tomorrow somebody who is preaching this like karma siddhanta, karma mimamsa philosophy and comes and explains you, hey, what you're doing, this is there, this is there. So how you defend yourself? So in order for you to have like, okay, yes, Hare Krishna Mantra is everything, you should be thoroughly convinced about your philosophy. And if you want to preach also to them, so you need to understand what they are talking about also. Especially for preacher, this is very important to understand this philosophy. Prabhupada says that, we should understand all these 6 systems of philosophy before we speak Srimad Bhagavatam. Because see, what happens is you go in a public and you speak, and if you don't know these philosophies, and they will come and counter your philosophy with this philosophy, then how are you going to defend yourself, first of all? And then how you are going to explain that what they are thinking is not correct. So for a preacher especially, so that they will not get embarrassed in society when they're preaching, Prabhupada says that every preacher must understand this philosophy thoroughly. First of all, our philosophy and the 6 system philosophy, because this is very prominent in the society. Like say, these philosophies are everywhere, but we don't know, they are in different form. They might give different name. You see, different people have different names, but they are behind the scene. They are all talking about this philosophy only. We need to know these are root of every philosophy actually. These 6 philosophies is the root of everything. If we understand this, so that we can actually very prepared, like to actually preach our philosophy, and we get full faith on our philosophy also. So if you are, as I say, like if you are very convinced, you are completely convinced that okay, Hare Krishna Mantra is everything, and Srimad Bhagavatam is ultimate, I will not deviate at any point of time, and this is my thing, then you don't need to read. You can do in bhakti things and continue. But if you think that your faith is not at that level, that you can completely surrender to the Lord, then you should basically try to develop your faith on this philosophy. And if you are anywhere getting attracted to other philosophy, you should basically get away from that philosophy by understanding what their philosophy are preaching. So again, it's very important for preachers to understand this philosophy because they are preaching in public. And second thing is for our own spiritual journey, so that we have complete faith on our process. Some people read it, not everybody. So again, if we don't have time to read this philosophy, then we should basically just read our own philosophy. Srimad Bhagavatam is sufficient. Prabhupada says that in the preface of Krishna book, that this one book is sufficient to bring love of God for us. If we can read Krishna book sufficiently, Krishna book only, we can actually we can actually develop love of God very easily. So we don't need to go anywhere and there. We can Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya, we have a lot of our own books. We can just continue on that reading. But again, like sometime, as I say, like if you want to go out, preach and talk to people who are propagator of other philosophy, so we should be able to defend ourselves.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. That was very clear. So you said these philosophies have always been there. So if Krishna is the source of everything, so Krishna must be the source of this also, to make sure that our faith is very strong in him, like his Maya. Is that the right way to understand, or is that not right? Like, these have been eternal also. These philosophers were just propagating this philosophy, but it has always been there. Were they also created by Krishna then, or by his Maya potency?
Yeah, because see, everything come from Krishna. Even we say, like demons and the demigod, they all come from Krishna. You know, so to like Allah. If you say Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyak, from where they came, they were all basically servant of Krishna. So eventually, like everything, every origin is there in Krishna, but depend upon like how we accept it. You know, so like if we don't accept Krishna, then Krishna will say, okay, you go to Maya. So they are agents of Maya. So like, okay, if you believe it, you surrender to me, then fine. If you don't surrender to me, there is an option for you, go there.
Yeah.
So Krishna is giving you a choice. You know, like, so depend like, well, like what choice you want to go. So, but again, because if Krishna will say my way is the only way, then there is a point of choice. If these philosophy would have not exist at all, then everybody has to believe on Krishna consciousness, right? And you have no choice.
That's right.
And where is your free will going on? So Krishna has given us a free will. Krishna has given a choice. So Krishna, but we ourselves cannot even invent new philosophies. People actually invent new things, which we think like it's a new thing in the material world. Like they are talking something new, but actually not. They are all derivative of one of these philosophies. They are all coming from one of these philosophies, and all you can say there are subdivisions or some divisions or subdivisions, but they are all talking about one of these things.
Anybody else have anything else to ask?
Or maybe comment or questions?
I don't see any other hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
Thank you very much for this nice this text, you know, the class you gave. But I would like to know what is that when we have all free will, Krishna gives us free will. But when we are going through some hardships or something, we always sometimes mostly we all say, you know, this is our karma. So I always divide, you know, this past karma, we don't know anything what we did. And right now we want to correct and we want to listen to Bhagavatam and read Bhagavatam or doing pujas and everything we are doing as human being, we are doing. Last karma, what I don't know. Last life, what I was, I don't know. And that is one thing. And what is the philosophy we go through this now? Is that Gemini or Vyasa or what? I remember I was hearing Gemini, this Siddhant also, but I don't know Vyasa. Can you tell me that thing, please? Can you tell me?
So your first question was like, why we don't know what karma we did in previous life and why we are suffering and how long we are going to suffer, what is the end, whether we are going to come out or not. All these questions are there, you know. So yes, this is like this always like a question for, especially for devotees, because we came to Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we think that, well, I'm already chanting, why my problems are not going. So like Krishna says in Bhagavad, like many times, that one time chanting of Hare Krishna mantra can actually free you from all sinful reaction. Why it's not happening? Why it's not happening? You know, many people think like that, or they say like we are there in this movement and we are doing chanting, but still suffering is going on. Why is that? You know, so suffering is basically as Prabhupada mentioned, one of the purport here is that is our mental perception also. This body has a cycle. Like our body is basically given to us by Krishna based on our previous karmas or previous activities, and this body has to go through its own cycle. So as a devotee, we came to Krishna consciousness and we are basically doing our own sadhana, and during that sadhana, like we are basically going through some hardships, some physical problems, sometimes mental problem, financial problems and all. But if we are a beginner devotee, Like if we are basically like just started in the bhakti, probably like in this lifetime, maybe from previous lifetime we have started. So till we basically not get free from all what you call there are obstacles in our bhakti. So we have some karmas which are still lingering. Some of the karmas we can actually get free, easily depend upon. When Krishna says that by chanting Hare Krishna mantra you can get free from all sinful reaction, that is when we chant Hare Krishna mantra without offenses. Normally, generally, because like if we chant mantras, if we chant the holy name of the Lord, but we are committing offenses. When we make an offenses, that actually create obstacle in our life. So that obstacle has to be removed. So our progress in bhakti and in our progress in coming out from this well, so-called suffering, what we are going through, a little bit of, not a lot. Actually, I would say like devotees are much better than other people. If you see the other people, they are suffering a lot. They are not accepting that. That's their fact. They are not accepting because they do not see the problems of life. As in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Janam Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukh Doshanu Darshanam. They don't even know that birth, old age, disease, and death is a problem. But because we hear every day, so that's why we say, oh my God, I'm such a problem. Because we hear problem every day. Like Maya is hitting us, or we are suffering and all. So we tend to think that, oh, we are suffering. Oh, we are suffering. You know. So, but they are not even talking about suffering. They are going through suffering, but they are not accepting that they are suffering. If you see other people, they are going through suffering. And because they are not understanding philosophy, they are thinking that, because they are not thinking that, oh, in future they will suffer also. So they are actually in ignorance, like animals. And animals, they don't know what suffering is. If you look at the animal life, they really know whether they are suffering or not. They have no kind of understanding that they are going to suffer in the future or today what suffering. So many people, many human beings, they are right now like they are just living life because they are living life, and they are not even realizing that they are suffering. So first thing is they need to understand suffering, and but devotees are recognizing. If somebody pinches, we think, wow, Krishna, man, what karma I did, somebody pinch me. We actually, even some suffering come to us, we start calling Krishna, oh Krishna, why I'm suffering like this, you know. So for every minute problem we think, oh, I might have done something wrong, that's why I'm suffering like this. So we are recognizing that, which is good actually, because then it is helping us in correcting our action future. So if it's reminding us all the time that, oh, I have done wrong, that I'm going through this suffering. So then it is basically helping us to correct our future. So maybe, see, for devotees, it's very complex to decide like whether it's because of their karma or whether Krishna is intervening.
Yeah.
It depends upon person to person. In devotee's life, like once a devotee is basically like start chanting Hare Krishna, I have heard that many devotees say that it's all Krishna is controlling everything. Because Krishna is taking care of, generally what happens is, one time one devotee is saying that, you know, like, Prabhuji, I am suffering because of this problem, because of this, because of my previous karma, I might be suffering. I don't know why Krishna is giving me this much suffering. Then devotee is saying that actually Krishna is minimize your suffering. Because of your karma, your head would have been chopped off, but Krishna is giving you a small cut, you know, something like that. So we don't know whether we are really getting the result of our karma, or we are getting minimized form of our karma, or we are getting these reactions because Krishna want to correct us, to want to test us. So many things are there, you know. But one thing we need to be sure, that Krishna says that my devotee never perishes. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that my devotee never perishes. Means once you become a devotee of Krishna, Krishna will take care. So we need to understand, like as a devotee, that whatever we are going through is all Krishna is doing for our own welfare. Jo kuch hota hai, achhe ke liye hota hai. That's in, like we say, whatever happens for good. We need to understand this philosophy that, like, okay, if If I'm getting suffering, maybe Krishna want to correct me. If I'm getting suffering, it's Krishna's mercy that I'm getting a little bit of suffering. We should see that, okay, my suffering is very little because Krishna, I would have been punished heavily, but Krishna is giving very little suffering to me. Or Krishna is giving me this to teach me something. Or Krishna is giving me this to free me something. Sometimes it happens is that Krishna might be giving you all this suffering so that you can get free next life. Devotee said, Krishna gave me all suffering this lifetime so that I can suffer together, and then later I will be free. So it's very difficult. This every actually depend upon devotee, where they are in their devotional life, which level they are, because there are different stages of bhakti, where they are, where they are falling. Until you have a complete faith, this all is going through until once you have a complete faith on Krishna, sarv dharman pratajya. See, coming to that point, Krishna is saying Bhagavad Gita, sarv dharman pratajya mamekam sharanam vraja. So in Australia, when Srila Prabhupada was delivering a lecture, so I saw that one tape there where one devotee is asking a question to Srila Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, we have done like lot of sinful action, lot of sinful activities in previous lifetime, millions of lifetime. How many lifetime we will basically take to counteract all these reactions, all these activities? And Prabhupada's answer was that 1 minute. I said, what? 1 minute? Everybody was shocked. 1 minute? I said, 1 minute. You don't read Bhagavad Gita? What Krishna says? Sar dharmani pratajya maam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sar pape bhyo moksha. So Prabhupada saying that you surrender to Krishna, Krishna will take you all sinful reaction. So now Prabhupada say what Prabhupada is saying that is our surrender to Krishna. So my understanding is that the more we are surrendered to Krishna, then we'll all free from sinful reaction. And what we are getting is basically nothing but some kind of correction things like. So depending upon degree of surrender, where we are, how much we are surrendered to Krishna, are we dependent on Krishna for all our requirements? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyesh chintayanto mam ye jana paripasate tesham nityabhaktanam yogakshema mahamyam. Krishna is promising. Don't worry. Ananyesh chintayanto. Whoever think about me all the time, worshipping only me, I will protect what they have and I will deliver what they need. So Krishna is promising that. So depend upon our surrender, our faith on Krishna, where we are, we'll see things in that perspective. If you are surrendered to Krishna and we are getting suffering, we have to see that, oh Krishna, you are giving me this to correct myself. The way basically. So depend upon like we are. If we are a new devotee, we think that, oh, it may be because of my previous karma, like that. So again, there are different factors. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, to understand karma is a very difficult topic. How the reaction coming, when the reaction is coming, who is this, when this reaction is fructify, it is result of what action. It's very difficult to figure it out. We really cannot figure it out all these things. Because this is a very complex cycle, very, very complex cycle. So as a devotee, Prabhupada says that, we just surrender to Krishna. We see what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita and just have a faith on that and move on. Just chant Hare Krishna and surrender to Krishna. Krishna will take care because Krishna already promised in Bhagavad Gita. So if we have faith on Bhagavad Gita's words, then we should do that. If we don't have faith, then I think we should read Bhagavad Gita again. That's my point, Mataji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
I think you have another question. I think
No, what philosophy?
Yeah, philosophies. Yes. So this Srila Prabhupada actually mentioned these 6 philosophies in his purports many places. So this Gautama or Kanad or Gemini and all like. So you want to know what these philosophies are, or like?
No. What philosophy we are following or anything like that? Anything like that we have?
Veda Bhagavatam mein Vyasadev.
Okay, Vyasadev.
Yeah. So we are basically
Vedanta.
We are we are following the Vaishnava philosophy. I can actually send you give you a verse. I'll show you, Mataji. There is a verse there where Prabhupada explained all these 6 philosophies, and there he actually explained what we are. So you can note down this verse. I'll give you this verse name. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter number 25 and verse number 56. I can put in the chat also. So you can actually like go to this link. And it's actually explained, Prabhupada actually explained these 6 philosophies. And then he properly explained that what these philosophies does. And then he explained that we are basically follower of Vedanta Sutra, what Shovarade Mataji mentioned. So this actually is very precise. Actually, Prabhupada give it's a very detailed things, but Prabhupada actually give very precise summary of 6 philosophies and what we are basically doing. So this is very good source.
This is a very good one. Yeah.
So you can go through that. It will actually give you like all different things and very easily.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Achyuta Priya Arundhati Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Here's Dandavat Pranams to everyone. Now, actually, we have a strong faith on Krishna, and the Shraddha is there, even the name, form, and everything. But at times we get the thoughts like between some negative thoughts, like we pray to Krishna that why such thoughts are coming, please remove it, like that. But sometimes how can we completely withdraw in getting such negative, in at times it comes.
So it's mind's nature, Mataji. Mind's nature is basically until our mind is not completely surrendered to Krishna, mind's nature is to basically deviate from Krishna. So when you get a negative thought, or when you think that like your mind is deviating, Prabhupada says that chant Hare Krishna. So even like our mind will go. Our mind's nature is basically it won't stay at one place. So it will go here and there, and the thoughts are basically a constant process. Thought is not something that you can stop, but only thing that you can deviate your thoughts. Like mind is nature, mind's function is thinking, feeling, and willing, and it will mind will continue doing that. Only thing is that right now our mind is thinking on negative things or negative thoughts or maybe materialistic thoughts. So all we have to do is basically convert that to the spiritual thoughts. So whenever you are thinking that okay, your mind is going in a direction where like it's not it's going in a negative direction, negative energy. So at that time we need to, it's our duty to bring back, and we have to chant Hare Krishna. Sometime like mind is still very strong, not really coming. So we have to at that time we have to loudly chant Hare Krishna. And even if that doesn't work, then you should basically call a devotee, and you can chant together with devotee association. So sometimes what happens is our mind goes here and there, but when you chant it among the devotees, when you come with the devotee and chant along with the devotee, then the thoughts will basically subdate, slowly will reduce. Because these thoughts, material thoughts, are come now and often because we are in the constant association of material nature. We are living in a material world where we are in constant association of 3 modes of material nature, and because of that, it's hitting us. Only way we can get out of this is basically when we create a covering of spiritual together on ourselves, free from these 3 modes of material nature. But that will take some time because it needs practice, and it needs like a lot of time for us to basically concentrate on the holy name of the Lord. So when we keep chanting Hare Krishna, you see, like when we start chanting Hare Krishna, initially our mind goes here and there. You start chanting Hare Krishna. The very first time you start chanting, mind start running around here and there. That's the nature of the mind. And we have to bring the mind back.
Yes.
We have to bring the mind back. And that's the way we have to do. Because the time you stop chanting, mind say, oh, very good, now I'm relaxed. Because that means mind is now getting free. Oh, now I can think whatever I want. So as soon as you finish 16 round, your mind, you feel very happy, isn't it? Not because that now you finish 16 round. Now because you think that now I can think anything now. Because mind is stressed at that time. Mind gets stressed that you cannot go anywhere. You have to think of holy name only. So which is not usually mind does. Mind want to do what he mind want to do. So because 16 round we are not letting mind go, so our mind gets stressed. But when we change our thought, when we change our consciousness, that we start getting pleasure in holy name. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nama Namakari Bhauda Nij Sarva Shakti Tatra Arpita Nimata Smrina Kala. Etadashi Tav Kripa Bhagavan Mahapi Drudevam Idasham Yajani Anuraga. Because we don't have anurag, we don't have attachment to the holy name of the Lord. That's why our mind is basically running away from that. But when we start getting some taste of the holy name and our mind start enjoying the holy name, then your mind will continuously chant even after 16 rounds. You see, when you go a nice kirtan, if you go, like, I don't know, like if you go in a kirtan festival or somewhere kirtan and nice kirtan is going on, and when you come back home from temple, Sunday feast kirtan, your whole time, your mind is chanting that kirtan tune, because it means your mind is enjoying that now. You know, that time, like that's why congregational chanting is recommended. You know, our japa is very good, but many times we have to go in a kirtan so that we can really taste the holy name. Because when we chant together, it brings the positive energy and which basically helps us. So mind will deviate, Mata. You know, it's not a problem. The only thing is that we have to bring it back. We have to bring it back. That's what we have to do. We have to bring it back, focus on Krishna, chant the holy name, think about Krishna, loudly chant Hare Krishna, go in association of Krishna, go in association of devotees, go to temple, go to holy dham. So we have to bring it back, whichever, whatever, yena kena prakarena, we have to bring it back. So that's our struggle. That's what Krishna wants from us. You know. And once you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna will take care.
Yeah, mine jumps.
Yes, Mataji, you can.
No, you go ahead, Mata.
No. See, it's as far as we try to please Krishna and our Guru, then that's fine. We all know that. But you know, those thoughts, like if any relatives or any of our close family members, if they do not like us, that keeps pondering our thoughts. Why? What is the cause? What is the cause? But we know that it's hard to please everyone. But still, you know, that it constantly comes. I'm finding hard on that. Fine. Means again, to have a strong attachment, holy name is not there. I think maybe. Yes. Thank you.
That issue is most of the devotees are there, Mataji. What you are going through, like pressure of family members, pressure of the society. Everyone has to go through that because our society is not a Krishna conscious society. We are living in a material world. This material world is dukhale mashashvatam. Krishna says that it's all full of problems and temporary. So this is our struggle. We have, when we, Prabhupada says, when we are basically becoming a devotee, we are actually going through a war against Maya, because this Maya is going to drag us back to the material world. But we are basically fighting. We have to come out from this Maya. So yes, those problems will be there. Family pressure, relatives, friends who are not devotees, they will not accept us. They will basically create problem for us, or they will say, why you are doing this? What is the benefit? All those things we have to go through. But we have to have a faith on Guru and Krishna, as you said, and the holy name. We just keep continue. Practical experience, what I have from many of my friends, myself, is that over the period of time, things will settle it down. And then people will accept you. People will basically appreciate you, what you're doing. Because ultimately we are basically pleasing Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam also, once we please Krishna, everyone become happy. Like as we give water to the root of the tree, all the branches will become already satisfied. Similarly, when we feed the stomach, all our senses get satisfied. So similarly, when we please Krishna, all the parts of Krishna, even the demigods, even all living entities, because all are parts and parcel of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mame Mamsho Jeev Loke Jeev Bhuta Sanatana. Krishna is sitting in the heart of all living entity. Once Krishna is pleased, other people will also become pleased with you. Like Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj pleased Krishna, so then everybody was pleased with Dhruv Maharaj. Even Kubera, he became very pleased with Krishna, very pleased with Dhruv Maharaj. So once we become a good devotee of Krishna, people will become happy with us later, somehow or other in the future, but not now maybe, but later. But we have to keep practicing that.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, yes, especially for devotees, we want to please the devotees, but sometimes it's hard. No, that point. Yes, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Sure, Mataji, thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for patiently answering all our questions. So we will meet again tonight at 5 o'clock for Bhagavad Gita Happy Hour. Parikshit Prabhu will lead the class. And then tomorrow morning at 7:50 for the next verse. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripasindhuveva patitana pavane
Hey,
Srila